It should be live. Let me check it. Should be live. All right, good, bro. All right. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kafatash. Double honor to our apostle LGMS, who rule well, teach well, being a great example to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing the word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Shema Shah, pushing to get up out of here, man. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, that listen, have came back to the obedience of the scriptures, and the brother Ayash, I'm here with the brothers in GMS Memphis camp. We've been going into the history of different empires of the Bible, and what we wanted to go into today, all right, was go into the Neo-Babylonian Empire, and we're also going to link it up, all right, with the virgin daughter of Babylon, which is America, man. Because we can't go into the history of the Neo-Babylonian Empire and not mention, all right, the spiritual aspect, all right, the daughter of Babylon, which is America, man, that's prophesied to be destroyed, all right, out the face of the earth, man. According to Yahweh Shemal Shai. So we're going to go to some articles, get some precepts, and Lord will, brother, sister, be edified, man. But first precept we're going to start with is Ecclesiasticus. Hold on, let me share the screen. All right, bro, you can go ahead and get the Ecclesiasticus 1 and 9.
Okay. This Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says the thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that thing which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun, man. So people are reincarnated. All right, there's different kings and leaders. All right, of old. All right, are back reincarnated. People are reincarnated, man. And you have also empires. The spirit that's in the individual empires are back reincarnated, man. And America has a spirit of all these wicked empires. All right, that ever ruled on the face of the earth, man. The Syrians, the Neo-Babylonians, all right, the Egyptians, you know, themselves as the Greco-Roman Empire, man. Esau is all that combined in one in his modern day empire because he uses, all right, the witchcraft and the philosophies of all those pagan empires before him, man. You know, so there's no new thing under the sun, man. So we're gonna get into this article, get some precepts, to prove this article, man. Because uh, at the end of the day, the Bible and secular history line up perfectly, man. You can't dispute it. All right. If you call yourself any type of historian, whether you went to a school or was self-taught, you can't get around how accurate, all right, the Bible is when it comes to secular history, man. So I'm gonna get this article, all right, which the brother Yakanan, all right, found. Got some good information in it. We're gonna deal with the Neo-Babylonian Empire, because you had the ancient, Babylonian Empire going all the way back to Nimrod, where that's the source of a lot of like the Semiramis, where you get the Queen of Heaven, all right, the Nimrod, which is where you get Christmas, all right, Tammuz, where you get the Immaculate Conception, who was the son of Nimrod and Semiramis, you know, Ashtaroth, which goes back to Semiramis, where you get the Easter celebration, you know. So even the ancient Babylonian Empire is responsible for a lot of paganism that we see today, but we're gonna focus on the Neo-Babylonian Empire, that's that the scriptures, all right, go into detail about, you know, and it calls America, all right, the daughter of this empire, you know. So it said the Babylonian Empire um was the most powerful state in the ancient world after the fall of the Assyrian Empire. Its capital, Babylon, was beautifully adorned by King Nebuchadnezzar, who erected several famous buildings. Even after the Babylonian Empire had been overthrown by the Persian king Cyrus the Great, the city itself remained an important cultural center. We know America is an important, all right, cultural center of today. Matter of fact, uh, I not get Jeremiah, I believe it's 57 or 51 instead.
You said Jeremiah what?
It might be 51. Do Jeremiah 51 and 7, bro. Oh, shot.
This book of Jeremiah 51:7. Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hands that made all the earth drunk it. The nation, the nations have drunk of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
Hey, so the Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, you know, and that cup was filled with philosophies, you know. So you had ancient Babylon which was a big, all right, cultural, all right, centerpiece, all right, of the ancient world during that time, you know. Just like you have America, man, which is a lot of people, all right, flock to the culture of America because they have drunken of their cup, man, you know. So just like the Lord used ancient Babylon, to influence the culture of their region, now He's using the daughter of Babylon, America, to influence the culture, all right, of these nations today, man. And to link up and to prove that, that America, is that modern Babylon and is doing the same thing, man. It's doing some of the same things, man. Get uh get Revelation. Zahar, you get Revelation uh 18, and we can start at the top, bro.
All right, this is Revelation 18 and 1. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory.
Go ahead.
And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird.
So this is a prophecy, all right, that's being scribed down, almost 600 years, close to 600 years, all right, 500, 600 years after, the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. So what Babylon is falling? What Babylon this that John C is falling, man, and it has become a desert, man. You know, because that's what America is going to be, a desert full of desert animals, man, unclean birds. You know, well, let's read scripture 3. Let's go verse 3. Which you're going to link up with Jeremiah 51 and 7. Go ahead, bro.
For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the
Mm-hmm.
kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich uh, through the abundance of her delicacies.
Come, in America, all right, is responsible for all the spiritual fornication on the planet Earth, man. You know, because they push, all right, this madness, all right, this dogma, you know, that they so called righteous, man. And the merchants of the earth, because all these nations are in bed with America, man. All right, the Babylon the Great, that being a part of the of this currency, the FRN note, they have became rich, man, which is still the strongest currency on the planet Earth. You know, these nations have become rich by trading, all right, and importing, and exporting to Babylon, man. You know, They have drunk of their fornication, man, their philosophy, this way of life, this way to be. You know, these nations have taken part of it, man. That's why all these nations have presidents, prime minister, democracy, you know, because back then, all right, the nations ruled with kings and monarchs, man. You know, you had kings being born. All right, now you have elections and all this madness. All right, going back to who Esau Edom, man. You know, the daughter of Babylon, you know, is the prototype for the majority of these nations on earth, man. You know, so let's get back to the article. Um, let's get to the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Like I said, whatever y'all brothers, any points y'all got, you know, any history y'all want to bring out, you know, bring out.
I had
Um, what you had, bro?
a quick precept
All right, what is it?
on Isaiah 13 and 19.
Uh, hold that one, bro. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, that's gonna be toward the end. But yeah, just hold that one down. Uh, this is the Neo-Babylonian period. It says, however, this may be after the death of Paul, right, which was all right, king of the Assyrians. It said there were serious troubles in Assyria. In 627, the Assyrian king sent two of his relatives, seeing some Lissar and seeing Sar Iskam, as governors of Babylon. They were expelled by a Babylonian soldier named Nabopolassar, who had who had once fought in the Assyrian army, but now started a kingdom for himself. According to the Babylonian Chronicle, known as ABC2, he was recognized as king on November 23rd, 626. This is the beginning of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. You know, so we see Nabopolassar, all right, he expelled, you know, those two Assyrian governments, you know, and claimed sovereignty, all right, for the Neo-Babylonian Empire in 626. All right, that's when you have the historical, all right, what the historians call the beginning of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. All right. So it said Nabopolassar continued the struggle against Assyria, which he wanted to overthrow. If he succeeded, the balance of power in the Near East would be seriously endangered. Consequently, the Egyptians supported the Assyrians against the aggressors. The fall in Nineveh Chronicle describes the events of these years. In 616, Nabopolassar defeated an Assyrian force on the banks of the Euphrates south of Haran. This suggests that Nabopolassar wanted to block the main road between the Assyrian heartland and its possessions in the west. However, he was forced to retreat when the Egyptian army approached. So you had the Babylonians, all right, going against the Assyrians and the Egyptians, you know, and you had the northern kingdom, all right, which was in captivity to the Egyptians, you know, that was part of the Assyrian, going into captivity to the Assyrians. That was part of this Assyrian empire, you know. And said next year the Babylonian changed his strategy and invaded the Assyrian heartland, where he laid siege to Ashur, the religious capital of Assyria. The Assyrians were able to repel their enemy. So you had the Assyrians and the Egyptians, you know, holding their ground against the Babylonians, you know. But we understand, according to the scriptures, all right, that the Babylonian Empire will come to a rise, man. Was you finna get that? Matter of fact, y'all can hold Daniel 7 and 4. We're gonna read that in a minute. It said the Assyrians were able to repel their enemy, but late in 615, the Medes, a tribal federation living in modern Iran, intervened. After the winter, they captured the city, and although Nabopolassar arrived too late to help them, he signed a treaty with the king uh, Casares. The Babylonian historian Berosus tells that the alliance was cemented by a royal wedding. The Babylonian crown prince Nebuchadnezzar married a prince named Amethyst. You know, so for brothers that don't know, Nabopolassar, all right, who was the story is called the first king of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, was the father, all right, of Nebuchadnezzar, all right, who married, all right, one of the princesses of the Medes, Amethyst, you know, but it was always prophesied for Babylon, all right, to eventually rise up, you know. So let me get it on the blue letter, and then you can bring it out, bro. All right, you go ahead and get it, bro. Daniel 7:4.
All right, this Daniel 7:4. It says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it.
So, all right, you had, all right, the lion, which is the Babylonian Empire, and the eagle wings, which is the Syrian Empire. You know, but it says, I beheld to the wings thereof were plucked. And you see the Syrian Empire was plucked up by the Babylonian Empire, you know, all through the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, because he rules in the kingdoms of men, you know. When it's time for one of these heathen empires to fall, you know, or any empire to fall, all right, the Lord, all right, uses a nation to pluck them up, man. You know, sets another nation in this place, you know, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and as a man heart was given to it. So we see the Babylonian Empire fully come into power, all right, under Nebuchadnezzar, man. And it was started by his father, Nabopolassar, you know. Uh, yeah, that was it on that. Get back into the article, and it said several campaigns took place in the neighborhood of Haran, from which the last Assyrian king, Ashar Yabalik, was expelled. Yet he returned with the army of Pharaoh of Egypt, Necho, all right, 610, all right, he was in Egypt from 610 BC to 595. It said King of Josiah of Judah, who had tried to conquer the former kingdom of Israel, which had become part of the Assyrian Empire, tried to resist the Egyptian but was killed in Megiddo. Necho was defeated too in 605 by Crown Prince Nebuchadnezzar near Carchemish on the banks of the Euphrates. The story is told in the Nebuchadnezzar Chronicles. All right. So you had anything you want to bring out, Zah?
Yeah, um, yeah. I'll just get the scripture that talks about those two battles: the Battle of Megiddo, and then the more significant Battle of Carchemish.
All right, where you want to go, bro?
You can get 2 Chronicles 35 and 20.
All right. I'll read it for you, bro, and you can do the commentary, bro.
Okay, come.
This is 2 Chronicles chapter 35, verse 20. After all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Carchemish by Euphrates, and Josiah went out against him.
Yeah, and that's not actually talking about Carchemish right there. That was actually talking about, or it wasn't talking about the Battle of Carchemish right there. It was actually talking about the Battle of Megiddo. But the reason why they said Carchemish is because where they fought at was like really close to Carchemish. It'd be like they saying, instead of saying like a suburb around a city, you'd just say the city. You can actually see that in verse 22. If you want to read that.
I'm just read down. It said, but he sent ambassadors to him, saying, what have I to do with thee, thou king of Judah? I come not against thee this day, but against the house wherewith I have war. And that house was talking about the Babylonians. So you had Josiah, trying to buffet, the Egyptians, you know, but the Egyptian really, all right, was going, to assist the Assyrians, and it says, for the Most High commanded me to make haste, forbear thee from meddling with the Most High, who is with me, that he destroy thee not. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself that he might fight with him, and hearken not unto the words of Necho from the mouth of the Most High, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo.
Right. There it is. They're actually fighting the Battle of Megiddo.
Uh,
But yeah, that, like you said, that those Egyptians were going to help Assyria, but that was kind of like the Most High's way of like buffering them, and Assyria's capital being taken by Babylon.
uh,
Let's see. Then Jeremiah 46:2.
uh. All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 46, verse 2. And against it says against Egypt, against the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates, and Carchemish with Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, smote in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah.
Yeah, and this is talking about the documentation of the Battle of Carchemish. Because it mentions the Egyptian king Necho, who the former one died, and then Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. This was when Nebuchadnezzar was king. He wasn't king during the Battle of Megiddo.
Come. It was something else I wanted to get into too. But if I'm gonna read some more article, then I'm gonna come back to it because it link up. And at the end of the day, if you don't see that the Bible, all right, is pinpoint, all right, accuracy when it comes to secular history, this ain't for you, man. At the end of the day, because people believe in everything, but when you parallel the Bible and secular history, all right, and see, all right, how precise that the scriptures are, because the Bible is history from the perspective of Israel. What was Israel doing during all these things, man, and how it affected, all right, the Israelites, man. You know, so we when you read the Bible, you're looking at history through the eyes of the nation of Israel, man. And from the perspective of Yahweh Shema Shah and his prophets. So let's keep reading. It says, what was that? Okay. It said in the same year, Nabopolassar, the founding father of the Babylonian Empire, died. His son continued the expansion to the west, where he took over the former Assyrian possession. It is not entirely clear where and when the border between Egypt and Babylonia was drawn. 2 Kings 24:7 implies that Egypt retired to the Sinai Desert and left the Palestinian coast in the Babylonian hand, but the Greek researcher Herodotus of Halicarnassus suggests that Gaza remained the Egyptian stronghold. During this phase of the Western War, Jerusalem was captured, and when its vassal king revolted, the city was captured for the second time in 587. Its population was deported to Babylonia, the beginning of the Babylonian captivity of Jews. Now the west was safe. Only Tyre resisted, and although the siege lasted many years, it fell in 585. You had anything to say on that, bro?
Um, I, I just have a few precepts on the two sieges of Judah.
All right, come. What you got first, bro? Well, before you do that, let me finish this account,
Okay, come.
and then we're gonna go straight to it. All right, so this is back in Jeremiah 40. Um,
46.
it is 46. I started at 12. It said, the word that the Lord Yahweh Shemashah spake to Jeremiah the prophet, our king Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, should come and smite the land of Egypt. Declare ye in Egypt, and publish in Migdol, and publish in North and Tapanes. Say ye, stand fast and prepare thee, for the sword shall devour thee round about. Why are thy violent men swooped away? They stood not, because the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai did drive them, showing you that the Lord, all right, controls the outcomes of these battles, man. Of these nations falling and rising, man. It says he made many to fall. Yeah, one fell upon another, and they said, arise and let us go up to our own people and the land of our nativity from the oppression sword. They did cry there, Pharaoh, king of Egypt, is but a noise. He passeth the time appointed. You see? So the Lord say he passes his time appointed. So your rulership, your kingdom is all in the hands of Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Just like in Job, when you say he appointed bounds that they cannot pass. All right, 14 Job 14 and 5. It said, as I live, said the king, whose name is the Lord of hosts, surely as Tabar is among the mountains and Carmel by the sea, so shall he come. O thou daughter dwelling in Egypt, furnish thyself to go into captivity, for naught shall be waste and desolate without an inhabitant. Egypt is like a very fair heifer, but destruction cometh, it cometh out of the north, you know. So how about Shema Shai? All right, set these things up, man. Everything that we see playing out on the planet Earth is already predestined and set up, man. You know, so at the end of the day, it's all about the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. I'm gonna get one
And I
precept of
have
that.
a precept for what you just read, what you just said.
Kind of what you got, bro?
Daniel 4 and 17.
All right, you got it, bro.
All right, this Daniel 4 and 17, it says, this matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whosoever he will, and setteth up over it the basis of men.
Yep,
No,
and that's what the Lord does, But you got it,
right.
bro.
Yeah. That's what he does, man. That's basically what he's doing right now with Esau ruling, man. He the basis of men. He did that in the past too. With the Babylonians, man. He set up who he wants set up.
Come. What you wanted to go to? Zah?
2 Kings 24 and 10.
All right. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 24, verse 10. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Joachim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
Con, and Jehoiakim, he was the king during the first siege. So that's how you know that this is talking about. Let's see, the year was 601 BC.
Uh,
And you can read verse 13 too.
and it says that he carried out thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, Shai, and the treasures of the king's house, and cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon, king of Israel, had made in the temple of the Lord, Shai, as the Lord, Shai, had said. And he carried away all Jerusalem and all the princes and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths, and none remained save the poor sort of the people of the land.
Yeah, so the first siege of Judah, they got ransacked. All their high ranking men, it said men of valor, the princes. It was like the royal family and, the strongest of the military. They were taken away, so they're left with, not much, right? You can jump to 2 Kings 25:1.
And if I can make the point, this also was the siege that Daniel, that Daniel went into captivity, because Daniel went into captivity during the first siege. And then the second siege, you had Ezekiel, the prophet, he went into captivity. All right. So that's how like the brothers going into it, two different, sieges. One where Daniel was took, when it said the princes and the nobles that was going to Daniel, all right, his 3 friends, all right, those Hebrew boys, that was taken in his captivity. Then they came back and cleaned house again. That's when they took Ezekiel, You said 25 and what, bro?
1 at the top.
Okay, come. It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 25, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts against Jerusalem, and pitched against it, and they built forts against it round about. And the city was besieged on the 11th year of King Salakia. And the city was besieged until the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Because Zedekiah was the king set up after the first siege, because Nebuchadnezzar took the king during the first siege, so he set up Zedekiah in the second one. You can read on though.
Come. And it says, verse 3, and on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between 2 walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldeans were against the city round about, and the king went. The king went the way toward the plain, and the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king and overtook him in the plains of Jericho, and all his army was scattered from him. So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon, to Riblah, and they gave judgment upon him, and they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him into Babylon.
And it's really symbolic too, is because Zedekiah was the king of the remnant of Israel at that time. His sons were slain before him, and his eyes were they blinded him. They took his eyes out. All right, and that's real symbolic of Israel today. Or previously, before we woke up to the truth, we were without a king. We were blinded by the philosophies of this world, and there was no mighty men. We didn't have order. We didn't have any order. We weren't a people, basically. You can get Jeremiah 34:2.
All right, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 34, verse 2. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Shemashah, the power of Israel. Go and speak to Zedekiah, king of Judah, and tell him, Thus said the Lord, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. And thou shalt. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, that all those events were prophesied through Jeremiah. You keep reading.
Because you like to say the wisdom is multifold. Sometimes it's talking about that particular period, then sometimes it's talking about that period and the time to come, but the Lord put the wisdom on you to discern it, and he gives you other precepts to let you know for sure, all right, exactly what he's talking about, man. In spirit, the Lord put the spirit upon you to understand it's going to be plain, You don't keep reading on that, bro? Oh.
No, you don't have to. You can, but jump down to
Said jump down the way, bro.
It's like, yeah, I may be in the wrong chapter. Oh yeah. After this siege, jump to 2 Kings 25, verse 22. Babu Shah.
Come on. All right, 2 Kings 25 and 22. And it said, And as for the people that remained in the land of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had left, even over them he made Gedaliah, the son of Acham, the son of Shaphan, ruler.
Yeah, so this was like the king that Nebuchadnezzar set up after the second siege. And you can keep reading.
And when all the captains of the armies, they and their men, heard the king of Babylon had made Gedaliah governor, there came to Gedaliah to Mizpah even Ishmael, the son of Nathaniah, and Johanan, the son of Karah, and Sarai, the son of Tanhamath, the Netophathite, and Jazaniah, the son of Magathite, they and their men. And Gedaliah swear to him and to their men and said unto them, Fear not to be servants of the Chaldeans, dwell in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it shall be well with you.
Yeah, so this is showing that, the parable of the wheats and the tares. There's a whole bunch of tares coming into Judah, and Israelites being scattered due to these sieges. Let's see. Jump down to verse 25.
Verse 25. But it came to pass in the 7th month that Ishmael, the son of Nathaniah, the son of Elash Amah of the royal seed, came, and 10 men with him, and smote Gedaliah, that he died, and the Jews and the Chaldeans that were with him at Mizpah. And all the people, both small and great, and the captains of the army rose and came to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldees.
Yeah, so when Gildiah became ruler over Judah again, you also had remnants uh, of Israelites come back too with all those heathens. So once Gilead was smote, they fled to Egypt.
Okay.
I think that's all I got.
Okay. Come. So we'll end it up with a few precepts just to prove that when Isaiah and Jeremiah prophesying about, you know, because we went into, all right, the kingdom of Babylon, you know, how it was ran, you know, who was the kings, you know, and we understand that it fell, all right, to the Persians and Medes, you know, but it wasn't with fire, as the scriptures speak about. So, you still got that in Isaiah 13, bro?
Con.
Yeah, you can bring that out, bro.
This the book
Hold
of
on, hold
Isaiah.
on. Let me get it real quick.
All right.
All right, start at 17, bro.
All right. This Isaiah 13 and 17. Behold, I will stir up the meds against them, which should not regard silver, and as for gold, that should not delight in it.
Kind and the Medes, all right, that's referring to in this uh time frame, you know, are the actual Russians, man. You know, because we're seeing the Russians being stirred up against the daughter of Babylon, man. All right, and they're not going to regard any silver or gold, which they're not going to regard trying to make any trade deals, any economic deals with America, man. They're not going to delight in it. All right, they just gonna want smoke, you know. Go ahead, bro.
Well, 18. Their bows also should dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of their womb, that I should not spare children.
Come because when these missiles come, these missiles ain't gonna spare children, man. You know, they don't care about pregnant women when these missiles come over here, which the bulk of them gonna come from Russia. All right, and everyone else that bends the boat, as the prophecy says about the daughter of Babylon. You know,
Uh,
go ahead, bro.
it said, in Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the bit of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah.
And that didn't happen in ancient Babylon. All right, they didn't get destroyed with fire and brimstone. All right, they didn't get took off the map. All right, like the modern Babylon is prophesied to be taken off the map, man.
Okay.
You know, that didn't happen. So letting you know, that's talking about this Babylon, man, the daughter of Babylon. You know, I'm not talking about the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. And you can't prove, and you cannot prove in the scriptures that it's talking about the Neo-Babylonian Empire being destroyed at Sodom and Gomorrah, man. You know, um,
He going on that?
nah, that's it, bro. Hold on. Damn. Uh, let's get a couple out of Jeremiah. Brother, get Jeremiah. Um, let's see, 50. Y'all can know you can get it.
All right.
Get Jeremiah 50 and
If I could add real quick,
you got it, bro.
uh, like you said, you can't prove that the Babylonian Empire wasn't destroyed by like Sodom and Gomorrah was. You know, it wasn't destroyed by burning fire. Uh, the scriptures talk about Zerubbabel just leading a remnant of Israelites out of Babylon.
Come, come. And then, you know, even if we go back to the article, you know, just to revisit the article and prove, all right, All right, what we saying? It said even after the Babylonian Empire had been overthrown by the Persian king Cyrus the Great, the city itself remained an important cultural center. You know, after Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed, it wasn't no important cultural center, man. All right, it was just ashes, man. You know, so they let you know that the Neo-Babylonian Empire, all right, didn't get taken out as the prophets are explaining, man. You know, you get uh get 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 Jeremiah 50 and start at 14, bro.
All right, this Jeremiah 50 and 14, it says, put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord. Shout against her.
Go ahead.
What you say?
I say, go ahead, read that first
Oh,
line.
okay. Verse 15. It says, shout against her round about. She hath given her hand, her foundations are fallen. Her
And that's
walls.
what we at right. And that's what we at right now. All right, these nations are putting themselves in array, which is a battle formation against Babylon, man. That's why they're preparing their militaries, man. You know, that's why they're isolating themselves from the daughter of Babylon, which is America, man. Because the Lord finna put in these nations' minds to spare no arrow, man, which is talking about these thermonuclear missiles, man. You know, the vengeance of the Lord ain't a bunch of niggas with some bow and arrows, man. You know, shooting bow and arrows, man. The vengeance of the Lord is gonna be on the grand scale. You know, this is for a lot of wickedness that's done. You know, here in the in America, man. You know, so it ain't gonna be people shooting arrows, man. It's gonna be missiles, all right, fired from one continent, all right, to the continent of America, man, to North America, chiefly here in Babylon, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
It says, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance upon her as she have done do unto her.
So the way that America had did all these nations, all right, has turned these nations into desert with continued airstrikes and all right, war. All right, all this finna come back to America, man. You see, the daughter of Babylon, man. You know, that didn't happen to ancient Babylon, man. All nations didn't gang up on ancient Babylon, man. You know, it was the Persians and the Medes, you know, and they took it all right through a surgical strike, man. You know, so let's get we get two more, and we can close it out. All right, let's get I want to get Isaiah. Get Jeremiah 51 and 27.
The Jeremiah 51 and 27. See ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations. Prepare the nations against her. Call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat.
Ararat was going to Turkey, which Turkey is linked up with Russia. You know, they're buying weaponry from all right, their Russian allies, man. All right, go ahead.
Uh,
Amen.
Menai
Yeah, come.
and Ashkenaz.
Ashkenaz. All right.
Uh,
Would you go into their region that's over there, Armenia? You know, go ahead, bro.
is appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the wealth caterpillars.
Their captain is Russia, man. All right. Russia is over these nations, all right, over the alliance of nations, you know, that are going to come against the daughter of Babylon, America, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
Verse 28. Prepare against the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his domain.
Calling out those Russians, man. Go ahead, bro.
And the land shall tremble and sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon.
So just the same way that every purpose, all right, was performed when the Lord was exalting the Neo-Babylonian Empire to power, to defeat the Assyrians, to defeat the Egyptians, all right, and they come into power, all right. The same way the Lord purpose is going to be performed when it comes time to take out the daughter of Babylon, which is this American empire, man. You know, go ahead, bro.
He said to make the land of Babylon a desolation without habitation.
Hey, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without habitation. That didn't happen to the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. How could it still be a cultural influence in the land if that land doesn't have an inhabitant, man? That's speaking of here in America, all right, via thermonuclear missiles and Yahweh Shai and the heavenly host, man. That this place will not be inhabited, man. You know, so we can get you get Isaiah 47. We close it with that, bro. Start at one.
All right. This is Isaiah 47 and 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon.
It's the old virgin daughter of Babylon. Why did it give it the title of virgin daughter, man? Because the America, which is the daughter of Babylon, all right, has never been penetrated by an outside nation, man. Never been conquered, man. So it's likened unto a virgin, and the daughter of Babylon, which is the personification, all right, of the ancient and the Neo-Babylonian Empire, man. You know, sit on the ground, which means you're gonna finna be in a lower state. Go ahead, bro.
Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
So America's superpower, all right, the superpower dynasty has come to an end. There's no more throne, which means there's no more rulership and power for this American dynasty, man. Go ahead, bro.
It says, take the millstones and grind mill, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers.
Go ahead.
Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man.
All right, and that's Yahweh Shai. And he sent his spirit back to expose this devil, man. All right, because Yahweh Shai, the spirit of prophecy and the spirit of truth. And that's what exposing Esau Edom, man. He's been called out, all right, and being made to be known as the wicked, the deceiver, all right, the harbinger of death, man. So the Lord is calling him out, all right, through the spirit of Yahweh Shai, working with the men of the Lord, man, which are the prophets coming back, and it says, and I will not meet thee as a man. So Yahweh Shai coming back, all right, to deal with Esau is a power, man. Read verse 4.
As for our King, Yahweh Bashmel Shai of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel.
The Holy One of Israel, man, because this is the end game to everything, man. Israel coming back into power, man. But first, we know the daughter of Babylon has to be completely destroyed, man. And the rest of these heathens, all right, the remnant, all right, of these heathens, beginning with the elite bankers of Esau, are going to captivity, man. So there was a conclusion, this series of biblical empires. Y'all brothers had anything to say?
Yeah, I got another precept.
Okay. What you got?
Jeremiah 33 and 26.
All right, this is the book of Jeremiah 33, verse 26. It said, Then will I cast away the seed of Jacob and David my servant, so that I would not take any of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for I will cause their captivity to return and have mercy upon them.
Yeah, and into the ancient captivities and the captivity today, the Most High is going to have mercy on us, and eventually we'll get into the kingdom. This is the last go around.
Come on, bro. Come on, since you said that, we're gonna end it on this. There's Isaiah. Let me slide this Micah 4:10. It said, "Be in pain." It says, let me share the screen. All right, this is Micah 4:10. It says, Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. All right. So it says, For now thou shalt go forth out of the city, which is out of Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field, which is being scattered throughout the world, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Ashah shall redeem thee from the hand of thy enemies. All right. And that didn't happen, in ancient Babylon, a great redemption, man, because we just transferred from the Babylonian captivity to the Medo-Persian captivity, man. But this time the Lord is going to deliver us, because you can't be delivered if you're still in captivity, man. True deliverance is the Lord casting down all our enemies and delivering Israel. So it was prophesied that we would have to go forth even to Babylon, which is the daughter of Babylon, you know, America, and it was going to be a great deliverance in this land, man. Also globally, man, you know, but the concentrated bulk of Israelites is here, all right, in America, man, you know.
Got it. I got one.
What you got, bro?
Jeremiah 46 and 27. I can read it if you want.
Let me grab it. You got it, bro.
All right. But fear not thou, O my servant Jacob, and be not dismayed, O Israel, for behold, I will save thee from afar off, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return and be in rest and at ease, and none shall make him afraid.
Kind of true deliverance, you know. And right now, we're not at rest and at ease, but in the kingdom we will be, after the deliverance. And he's going to save us from afar off, man. All right. From all four corners of the earth. But the boat coming out of the daughter of Babylon, which is America, man.
Yeah. It says, Fear thou not, O Jacob, my servant, saith the Lord, for I am with thee, for I will make a full end of all the nations, whither I have driven them. But I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in measure. Yet will I not leave thee wholly unpunished.
So we have. You got it, bro.
I was going to say, it goes on to say, other lands wherever I have driven thee. So it's not just going to take place here in America. It's going to be places where all Israel has been scattered. Just like the brother said, true deliverance. Make an end of all of our enemies. Because, in times past, he would just take down a kingdom and leave a remnant that still held on to, our heritage. But this time he's going to bring it like fully. He's going to tear down all these other heathen nations. And he's going to bring all the righteous of Israel, back into remembrance and back into peace and safety. And then it even says that I will not make a full end of thee, but correct thee in measure. And we know that the 2/3 punishment, after they be cut off, they're going to be reincarnated in the kingdom. And, that's going to be their correction and measure and their measure.
Well, that was all I had. So any brother got any comments, anything? All right, come on. I know I was edified. So Lord will, brothers, sisters edified. Once again, we're gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Yahushua. Double honors to our apostle elders, rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. Shalom to the hopeful elect.